Good morning. I haven't vlogged a lot recently because I haven't edited a vlog in 9 months. So the motivation is waning somewhat. It occurs to me I haven't actually filmed this. This is the walk back from nursery across the Sutherland Memorial field, I think it is. There's a playground here, there's a massive cricket pitch. It's all sorts, it's very excellent. And today I'm going over there into the distance, up into the Surrey Hills to help do some vineyard management in the morning.
Welcome to another episode of Toby Stupid Vlog.
I'm currently working on loads and loads of podcasts, pretty standard. I did like 4 or 5 last week, I think, and this week I am on podcast number 3. There's another one coming tomorrow, so I have to finish at least one of those 3 today. And on Friday, whisper this, but I don't have anything to do. Oh, I can't tell you how good that feels. Next week looks a bit quieter as well. There's always one podcast every week, but other than that, it's a bit quieter, I should say. So who knows, I might get things done around the house. You know, sort out the loft, take some things out of storage, tidy the garden, mow the lawn, trim the hedge, you know, paint the walls. It's not like there's any shortage of things to do. But for now, I've got to focus on the job at hand, which is pruning leaves away from grapes. I'm just on my way back, but I've just come up here. This is called London Vista. Now, I'm looking the wrong way at the moment. There, I'm looking down the hill towards sort of North Guildford, if you know what I mean. And come round past the car, you can see Woking is there. That's Woking, but if you look this way, you can definitely see London. There it is. We're going to do a super zoom. Hang on, so bear with me. There's London. You should be able to make out, if we can focus, the Shard and various other tall buildings, and then Canary Wharf is this next section over there. It's very impressive, isn't it? Love this view, it's crazy. What a fun morning. Exhausting, but like nice to do something just completely different. Working in agriculture, I can add that to the list. So we were pulling leaves off the lower parts of the vines to allow airflow onto the grapes, which helps prevent mildew. It also helps with the ripening process, although you don't want to pull off too many just in case you have another couple of days like we did in July and the grapes will literally burn. So that was this morning's activity, and now I'm going back to pick up Amelia. I really did naively believe at the end of last week that this week was going to be a lot more chilled, because, you know, last week I had 5 podcasts and 2 filming days in 5 days, which is nuts. And this week I've only got 4 podcasts and no filming days. So yeah, massively chilled. Except that obviously that is not quite the recipe for relaxation, especially when I want to take half a day off to do, you know, vineyard work, and there's some pressing deadlines. But next week, in the same way that diets always begin tomorrow, relaxation always begins next week. Next week, the only thing I have in my diary is I have to finish one of the podcasts that I'm working on this week, but I have done most of the heavy lifting, so we are talking probably an hour and a half's work left. And I have to record, try not to throw receipts all over the floor, and I do have to record and edit one other podcast. That is the whole of next week's work, nothing else at the moment. So, you know, there could be days where I could do things that are more fun. And when I say podcast, I'm being rather generic. Actually, a couple of the programs I'm doing right now are not strictly podcast first. They are regular programming for Radio 4, screenshot if you've ever seen it. So yeah, good afternoon. I've had a very busy morning indeed. It started at about 7:30. recording, more stupid podcasts. I mean, they're not stupid. They're interesting to some people, and this one probably actually to a ridiculous number of people. It's the Fancy Premier League. So if you're into that at all, then you should definitely check it out. I'm personally not, but that's not really relevant. So yeah, recorded that program, had to edit it, turn it around, just finished doing that. It's about 1 o'clock at the moment, 1:30 nearly. And in between that, I've been mastering the Radio 4 programme and delivering that to the BBC. So that has been done also in the gaps in between, whilst also managing another podcast for a different client. So yeah, it's been a very busy morning, and I'm hoping not to do any sort of that kind of work this afternoon or tomorrow at all, if I'm honest. I just want a bit of clear headspace to get on and do house things. So yeah, quite busy, and it sort of frazzles your brain, and then you're left sort of, I don't know, you're feeling slightly sort of shell shocked. Have I shown you the quality of these blackberries? It's amazing. Check out these bad boys. Having that. Taste test. Good size. Good odour. Hasn't been peed on by a dog. Very tasty, yeah, very nice. Not super sweet, a little bit of sharpness. Very pleasant, be excellent in a pie. Yeah, so I'm desperate to do things that are fun, like eating blackberries by the side of the road rather than sit in front of a computer screen managing other people's problems. So tomorrow let's do something fun. What shall I do? I might go for a walk. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Yeah, world is my oyster. Don't know what's happened here. I'll have to tidy that up on my way back. Annoying. Anyway, I need to go and buy lunch things. The house is in chaos, and I forget to buy food because there's nowhere to store it, and so you get to lunch and you haven't got anything. So at the moment it all feels a bit chaotic, but in a week or so it will start feeling a little more normal again. Can you climb back again, do you reckon? Can you climb back on the yellow one? Good climbing. Hello there. Look, this is Holmbury Hill. This is Hurtwood. Great name. And if you keep going up this path for about 45 minutes, half an hour, you get to top of Holmbury Hill. There's an amazing view down. It's the next hill over to Leith Hill. It's a fantastic view into the valley beyond. It's beautiful around here, beautiful pine trees. It's a summer's day, the sun's shining. The reason I'm filming this is because I've just arrived, just come here for a walk, having been delayed all morning by things that needed doing in the house and this, that and the other, and all the usual things that gets in the way life. I've just got here and I've now just realised that I've basically got to go back because there's all sorts of things I need to sort out with the kitchen. I thought I could get away for a walk for an hour. It turns out I was wrong. So I just needed to come, 100 metres, not even, down from the car park, just so I could have even the slightest feeling of being out in the countryside. So bear with me. Hello, happy Sunday. So Crystal and Amelia have gone to meet up with all the other Robinson women to have a ladies' afternoon tea for Gay's birthday 2 years ago. I kid you not. We're still in catch-up mode for birthdays uncelebrated, presents ungiven, people unseen. So that's what's happening right now in Cobham. So I just dropped them up the road. This is near Ockham. You might recognise the constant stream of pine trees. I've come here before, but never to this bit. So I was going to go to another bit, but then I needed to stop and use the loos. And then I thought, you know what? Why don't I go this way? Because I've never been this way before. It's not technically a public footpath, though it is somewhat of a footpath. And down through the trees here, eventually you get to a lake. I've got some work to do, and I just figured maybe I can find a nice spot to have a sit and finish mixing the podcast for next Friday. Radio 4 programme. Podcast is my default statement. So I'm mixing the next episode of Screenshot, which goes out in about 5 days' time. And I've done most of it, but once I'd finished, I realised that a couple of things. But the most important one being it's not long enough. It doesn't meet the minimum programme length. It's 20 to 30 seconds too short. So I've got some options which I can put in just to bulk it out a little bit. Not bulk it out's the wrong word. I can add back in content that was removed initially on the edit for time, because now we don't need to be quite so tight on time. So I've got a few things, and I'm going to see which works best. The roar you can hear is the A3. We're right next to the A3, but you wouldn't know it, except for the loud noise, by looking at the scenery, because it's just an amazing lake. It's somewhat of a nature reserve, really. I'm trying to find somewhere where I could sit that isn't damp. I'm not going to be sitting on top of a nest or something. It's nice to vary the places you edit. This is surprisingly tranquil considering the A3 background noise. But it's nice to be by water, even if it is quite stagnant water as it stands, but there's still a lot of life around. Okay, I think I'm done. It took about an hour. I thought it would take less, but these things. The problem is when you're trying to hit a program length and you only have 20 seconds to play with, so maximum length is minimum length is 41:30, maximum length is 41:50. So you add a clip and then you go over and you take a different clip out and then you go under again. You got to sort of fall in the sweet spot. So you got to add something that puts you there or thereabouts within a couple of seconds, so you can then just take out breaths and words and things earlier on rather than whole sentences or pieces. I think I've done it. I think I'm at 41:49, so I've squeaked in under the radar by a second. Just mixing it down now to check it looks okay, and if it is, I'm going to walk back to the car, and then presumably I'm going to get a message quite soon from Crystal and Amelia saying that they need a lift, so I'll go and do that. There's quite a lot of boardwalk put down here, sort of wood protected with chicken wire, and that is presumably because it gets really, really wet around there and everything other than a heat wave, and so it means you can actually get around the lake, which is interesting because none of it is like an Ordnance Survey marked public footpath, but it's clearly used quite a lot. So I think it might be a nature reserve. It doesn't say specifically that it is on the map, but it's very nice nonetheless, and these beautiful non-native pine trees are also very, very pretty. You can, if you live in this sort of area, sort of in the Surrey, mid-Surrey area, and you want a Christmas tree, and you want to get it yourself, then you can pay 20 quid to come here and cut down as many pines as you like. Now, they don't anticipate you're going to cut down this kind of size tree, but there's lots of Christmas tree sized pines that you might want to have a little go at, so you can do that. I think they run it most of November and a bit of December as well, so yeah, pretty most weekends I think. Ockham and Wisley Commons, that's the area you're looking for. Good afternoon. I've just been to Aldi because I have no food. So we have, the kitchen is 90% fitted now. I'll show you when I get back. It's looking great. We can't do the flooring until EDF move the power. We can't move the fridge freezer into its final position. That's a bit annoying, but we knew that was going to come. We haven't got the oven in place. That is more annoying because Wren, well, first of all, they damaged the housing in transit, and then when they were supposed to deliver the new one this morning, they lost it. So currently the oven is sitting in a box in the dining room. So that's a bit frustrating, but I have had quite a productive day otherwise. I've been in the loft putting new boarding down to get the loft ready to move all of our stuff out of storage, fitting new door handles on the upstairs doors as a test, and I'm about to cut some holes in the kitchen ceiling to recess the lights in. So, you know, things are progressing, and this is more fun than, you know, working for a living. I did do a bit of normal work this morning. I delivered a Radio 4 programme before 10 a.m, final master on that, so that's good. Tomorrow I'm doing Fantasy Premier League podcast at 8 o'clock in the morning. Hello there from the office, and by the office I mean the wooden cabin at the bottom or halfway down my garden. Still got bits of insulation that we were using to block the sunlight out of the window in the extreme heat, and then yesterday we had the most amazing selection of downpours and thunderstorms, and the ground is still soaking wet. Like, I mean, we have clay soil here, so it doesn't absorb the water very easily, but the ground is literally like soggy at the moment. I've just turned the camera on because I just record a moment in time. You might recall a few weeks ago, more than a few weeks ago, it was a month and a bit ago, I went to do an interview down in Essex, CHP, Chelmer Housing Partnership. I've just had a call to say that they've offered me the position, which is, I was hoping they would, obviously, but, you know, with non-exec positions, you don't know who you're up against. So, and you also don't know what they're looking for. It's not quite as precise as a job interview where the description is very clear about what they want. With this, what they say they want is usually quite broad strokes, but what they actually want, they don't necessarily tell you very precisely. Anyway, me is the answer, it would seem, so I'm very pleased about that. So yeah, I'm just sorting out my references now, and I'm supposed to be editing a podcast. Obviously, that's taking a bit of a backseat. If you're a client of mine, ignore this section. So yeah, I'll get back to that when I've resolved all this. But that's very exciting. So lots of driving to Essex coming very soon.
Because
This is Worthing Beach, Worthing Pier. We've done some sandcastle digging and sandwich eating and ice cream purchasing, all usual beach things. Great. Off we go. Hello, teddy bears. Happy Tuesday. Seeing as there have been nothing in the way of vlogs for weeks, possibly months, I thought I'd start one because it's a Tuesday and we're going on holiday. We've currently... It's that way, yeah. That's the way to the high street. Yeah, let's go now. So this is the playground we've just been to. Oh, hello, Dolly.
Dolly.
Cheese.
That's
This is Odium in Hampshire. We're on our way to Tetbury in Gloucestershire. I'm just describing where we are. Do you want to tell everyone where we are?
Yeah.
Where are we?
I see it in the video.
Yeah, you can see it in the video. Hang on.
Cheese.
Where are we?
On the road.
On the road. And where are we going?
To the high street.
To the high street, that's right. Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
Here we are, Beaverston Castle. That's the castle bit. We're staying in this bit down here, but it's much closer to the castle than I thought it'd be. It's obviously got its own churchyard and fields. It's a very old castle. So the oldest bits, I think, are 1225 or thereabouts. But there's all bits from pretty much every century. As it stands, there is a footpath that runs literally through this field here. You can go for a walk and you can keep going, and actually I think you get to Nailsworth if you keep walking, which is nice. Let's see if I can find how you get into the walled garden. I don't think it's this way, but we'll have a look. This is Tetbury Play Area train station. Yeah. Oh, have they?
Yeah.
I think they're okay.
There's Daddy new.
Looks fine to me.
There's meant to be two ends, Bob.
Yeah. So there's a train in the old goods yard down here, and I guess this would have been where the track ran pre-beaching, and so they've reconstructed it as a playground, which this one's having fun.
Lay down. It's okay. Just lay down.
Okay, lie down. This is the Church of St Mary the Virgin in Beaverston. This is part of the estate. It's a very pretty little church. It's about as old as the castle, so 1225-ish. Mummy's getting the things ready for us to go on an adventure to the wood, aka Western Birch Arboretum. Impressive to have this, outside your front door, isn't it? It's quite something. That's where we're parked down here. There's the church, which we popped into earlier. I was just coming out here because the sunset that is shaping up looks amazing in the field behind. I just wanted to see it. This is why I love the Cotswolds. It's the constant selection of fields. Look at that. That's lovely. I'm going to come here and fly my drone in this field tomorrow, hopefully. I've got to go to Tesco now because we forgot an ingredient for our dinner.